What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from the Quartering, and I wanted to signal boost a friend of mine and in this video because she's on the ground right now in East Palestine, Savannah Hernandez. Follow her on Twitter, Sav underscore says underscore. She's absolutely ferocious, and she's getting some amazing videos. And there's even new shocking videos coming out now that independent journalists are on site, independent non-mainstream media is on site recording things, uploading things, doing interviews, things of that nature. It looks far worse than what we thought. Savannah Hernandez says, I'm on the ground in East Palestine, Ohio, ahead of Trump's visit. She said, quote, the air, you should watch her video on it. Air smells extremely toxic near local creeks. Chemical sheens still visible over the water. However, the EPA is still telling residents that air and water supplies are safe. I mean, how could you possibly do that? By the way, shout out to Savannah for being on the ground. I got something brewing with her coming up soon. Stay tuned. Then she wrote, I saw these workers on one of the local creeks, lots of chemical sheen visible as they walked through the water. This looks like they were taking samples from the area. Extremely toxic smell here. I mean, what is going on? You see this video, right where they're standing in the water. You can see the chemical sheen where they stand. You can't even, I mean, like, this is Savannah Hernandez. Every step this guy takes, there's chemicals in the water. There's a huge chemical sheen there. I mean, if I can see it plain as day, the ppms must be off the charts. You see East Palestine Lives Matters hang in windows of local businesses affected by the toxic derailment. Locals lining up, awaiting Trump's arrival. One person showed up with Trump is mental ill sign. Residents were not pleased. Locals have started chanting "No more Joe" as they await Trump's arrival to East Palestine. I mean, the fact that he got there before Joe Biden and Joe Biden still hasn't gone is great. Is just a huge W for him here in the Midwest. Savannah Hernandez interviews some people. My daughter can't go outside without getting a rash. In East Palestine, local talks to Senator J.D. Vance, telling him that she was at the town hall meeting last week where residents were left without information or why they're having these reactions. Here's another person she interviewed, quote, and by the way, you should watch all of her videos. She's doing all the hard work, so that's why I'm not playing them. And I really respect the work that she does. At Sav underscore says, here she interviews another person, quote, since Saturday after the derailment, my stepdaughter started developing a rash, hives all over her body. Her lungs felt like they were on fire. This woman who lives 3.5 miles outside of East Palestine shares how residents in other towns have been faring post-train derailment. Of course, she also asked Donald Trump what is being done what he would do if he was in office. He said that FEMA would have been there a long time ago. Joe Biden should be there, all this kind of stuff. Like, Sav is absolutely crushing it down there. He went to, he went and paid for the fire department's McDonald's and absolute great, photo op and stuff like that. Turning Point also on the ground shared this video. The chemical contamination in East Palestine, Ohio is not only in the air, soil, and river, but is spotted in gutters and on vehicles. Now, a lot of people, I don't know what else to tell you when I'm looking at this. You can see it on the windshield wipers. Like, imagine walking around in that. Is it, maybe something, it's like, oh, okay, maybe you could explain it this way, or maybe you could explain it that way, or maybe you could explain it this way. I feel so bad for the people who are living there and they don't know what the heck to do. They open the internet and they see all these videos and this chemical stuff in their water and their air smells bad and all this kind of stuff. And then you got Pete Buttigieg rolling up and saying, nah, dude, everything's fine. I mean, I waited 20 days to get here, but everything's fine. By the way, Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg finally visited East Palestine on Thursday, 20 days after the derailment that left Ohio community reeling and begging for answers from the Biden administration. This is such a bad look. The former mayor donned a hard hat as he toured the site with investigators a day after Trump told the locals they had been betrayed by the White House and federal government. They were. Buttigieg was talking with residents when reporters approached him about why it took so long for him to visit the town of 4,700 people, still very much impacted by the hazardous chemicals that contaminate the air, water, and soil within 5 miles of the rail accident. The transportation secretary and has faced intense backlash from both Republicans and Democrats for his slow response to the disaster. That has prompted fears that the release of toxic chemicals will lead to long-term illnesses, including cancer. Mayor Pete, why did you take an entire 2.5 weeks to actually get here to respond to East Palestine? Asked Savannah Hernandez, a reporter for Turning Point USA. Will you apologize to the residents of the city for your slow response to the government's slow response? Do you have any apologies? The press secretary for the transportation secretary, Carrie Arndt, is seen in the video telling Hernandez and other reporters that she'll answer their questions, but not on camera. And when asked why the camera can't be on, Arndt responded, "That's a little aggressive." He spoke to National Transportation Secretary Board investigators on the side of the tracks 24 hours after Trump handed out water and food to residents and praised the courage of first responders. In a tweet on Thursday morning, Buttigieg, this morning I'm in East Palestine, Ohio to see the site of Norfolk Southern derailment, hear updates from investigators, and meet first responders. And he got absolutely destroyed. As he confirmed that he would be going and then tried to take a photo of a journalist, by the way. They're trying to intimidate journalists. So earlier this week, before he announced the Thursday visit, a reporter from the Daily Caller confronted him in the street. He confirmed that he would be going, then tried to take a photo of the journalist while he was walking around Washington, D.C. with his husband, Chaston. That is an intimidation tactic. Nothing more, nothing less. When the reporter pressed him again, he declined, saying, "No, I'm going to refer you to the comments that I made to the press." This guy, here's what's going to happen. Pete Buttigieg is the fall guy for this. He's going to have, here's Ohio mother pass message to Biden. East Palestine residents whose daughter, 15, got rashes, tells White House to send medical help. I mean, is this some sort of crazy, mass hysteria? No, I don't think so. I think when you have like all these chemicals pouring into the atmosphere, the water supply, maybe it's time to take a look at something, and the fact that really Joe Biden doesn't care. I mean, Joe Biden took the time to go to fly over to Ukraine. He's got no time for East Palestine. And to be honest with you, it's also extremely telling, right? Joe Biden doesn't care about Ohio. If this was in California, he'd been there, or whatever, some Democrat state. Now, I'm not sure who on the Democratic side is actually calling this out, but I'm suspecting that if they care about keeping their positions, keeping their jobs, all this kind of stuff, that they're absolutely going to, because I don't think this is a partisan issue. It shouldn't be a partisan issue. Of course, literally everything gets made to be a partisan issue, but you have, you have Pete Buttigieg arguing with reporters, trying to intimidate them by taking their pictures, refusing to go do his freaking job. I would definitely, call outright for the immediate removal of Pete Buttigieg from his position. If Joe Biden was any bit, if Joe Biden wanted to prove he's not completely brain dead, he would do that immediately. Heads need to roll over this. And if they don't, then guess what? It's just going to come back up in the election season. You don't think Trump's going to pound this? Trump's going to tell everyone how Joe Biden abandoned the Midwest to go over and suckle at the teat of Vladimir Zelensky, the guy who's taking all of our money for a proxy war with Russia. And he's going to lead us into World War III because Joe Biden is a total moron, or they have some sort of pictures or compromising information about his son. I mean, this is all happening right out in plain sight. Everyone can see it. It's no longer a conspiracy. It's like fact-backed, evidence-based. I mean, why are we still giving Ukraine all this money? No more money until you go to the peace talk table. What kind of moron just keeps giving the guy more money and more arms? No more until you go to the peace talk table. Period. And you know, and by the way, also until I take care of my own citizens in East Palestine, Ohio, sorry, you know, warmongers, I've got to take care of my own constituents. You'll never see that from Joe Biden. He's an absolute loser. God, this East Palestine thing has really, really shown this moron and his administration's true colors. I hope you were informed by this video. If you were, I've been covering it. I will continue to cover it. So please subscribe down below. Also, make sure you follow Savannah Hernandez on Twitter. She's on the ground right now doing amazing work. And I got to give credit where credit is due on that. I hope you enjoyed this video. We'll talk to you again real soon.